What is going on, guys? In today's video, with the holiday season, I'm going to make some gingerbread people. So I have two here that look like this. They remind me of like Cartman, if you guys know South Park, with a little bite out of the top. So this one I put a thinner coat on it, and this one I put a thicker coat. So you really can't see this one as well as you can see this one. The coating probably isn't going to make a difference. They should come out perfectly fine. And these are the other two that I made. And again, a thicker coat on one and a thinner coat on the other. The coating I have here, if you're not aware, is drywall mud. It is just strictly drywall mud mixed with water. So I always coat these before I cast them because the drywall mud actually gives it a better surface finish, because without it, you're going to get the grain of the sand, and you'll actually see that when I remove this later. You'll see that how grainy this smooth piece of foam is from the sand. So I'm still debating if I'm going to melt metal with my furnace that I made or the propane furnace that I have that I purchased, the Cast Mastery Light. The Cast Mastery Light GG5000 is a smaller furnace with a smaller crucible. So I think it's enough to do these, but don't forget, when you do the lost foam, you're going to have a lot on the top that is actually inside the pouring cup. So I don't really want to fall short on my cast. So I might use the furnace that I made. I'm still debating. I don't really know. But just hang tight, and I will actually show you how I made these with my CNC machine. And I'll do a voiceover on that so to help you guys out if you have any questions. And, obviously, if you have any questions, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like the video, guys. And stick around for the rest of the video. I'll get right to it. So I carved these shapes out of polystyrene XPS foam. It's foam that you can purchase from your local hardware store. I get mine from Home Depot. I'm carving them out with the Fox Alien CNC 4040, the Masuder. It's a cheaper model. It used to run around $450. It might be a little cheaper now because it's been a couple years. Once carved out, I have to glue on a sprue, and this is where the molten metal will flow down into the pattern. I'm just using a glue called Fast Grab Tacky Glue. It usually takes 24 hours to dry. The next step is adding the joint compound. Just mix some in a separate container and add water to get a thin consistency. Now all you have to do is add it to the foam. I'm actually just dabbing it on because I try to do that to eliminate any air bubbles. And after you're done adding it, blow on it with some air to move it around to, again, help get rid of the air bubbles. Alright guys, so I did decide I'm going to use my furnace that I made when I first started melting metal. So this is a bigger crucible, and it is a bigger furnace. So I'm just going to put a piece of cardboard down here so the crucible doesn't stick to the block down there. And this is a old propane tank. You can see how thick it is here, with some casting plaster on the inside surrounding some Kea wool. I do have an older video explaining how I made this. If you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description. But now I'm going to go bury those pieces of foam in some dry sand. So let's go. So I'm going to place both of these patterns just like this. I'm going to have them be like a tripod and touching each other on the top, because when I put the pouring cup over top, the aluminum will flow straight down and get both of them. I mean, I could do it like this, but I would worry that there might be some sort of cave-in of the sand. So I'm just gonna bury this with some dry sand. The sand has to be dry. And then I'm gonna put a pouring cup on the top, and I'm gonna fill it with sand, just like I normally do. If you guys are new to the channel and don't know that, check out some of my other videos I do this all the time. All right, so now that I have these filled up to basically the top, I'm going to put the pouring cup right on the top. I'll press that in about an inch, and then I'll fill the rest up surrounding the pouring cup with more sand to lock the cups in place. So I probably should have lit this furnace before I buried that in sand, because this does take a little bit longer to heat up. So stick with me. I'm going to light the furnace, put some metal into it, and melt it down. And the reason I did that, the reason I'm using this furnace instead of my other one, is because I have a lot of large pieces of aluminum that won't really fit in my smaller crucible. So that's why I chose to use this one. I mean, guys, look at all this aluminum. I have tons of metal here. Look at this flex plate. This thing is solid aluminum. Well, except for the gears. But this is for another day. These copper head gaskets here. Copper head gaskets from an old car I had, an old Mustang. That's another video. But I need to grab, I'm gonna grab some pipe. I have this channeling here too. I think I'm gonna melt this channel down. So let's bring it out there and melt it down. It's gonna be a while, but I'll just set this right here and come back and see what happens. It'll probably fall over. I probably should wait till it's hot enough to melt anything. We'll see. All right, we have some smoke coming up here out of the furnace here. I guess it's burning off something off this aluminum piece here. So this aluminum should probably be melting pretty shortly. And don't breathe this in, it's probably not good for you. I probably should mention, because some of you are probably wondering why my plinth block is sitting on top of the furnace. Well, the reason that's there is because the hole is humongous, and I'm just trying to keep the heat inside the furnace by trying to block it off using this plinth block that I will use to put on the ground right here to be underneath of the crucible when I remove it. So I don't put the hot crucible on a cold ground. At least it'll be sitting on a hot plinth block. Alright guys, you can see that I mostly have this melted down. Inside you can see the liquid aluminum down there. So once this is done, I have a couple more pieces of aluminum I'm going to throw in there. Liquid aluminum looks so cool. So, hang tight. So now that it's all melted down, I'm not actually going to add any more to it. That's plenty. I mean, I was going to melt down these other two pieces of aluminum I have here. It's pretty thick, but there's no need. I have plenty of aluminum in that crucible. So now I'm just going to remove the slag off the top and pour the metal. Alright guys, we're gonna remove them from the sand, and we're gonna quench them in this bucket of water here shortly. See how they came out. I think they came out really good, to be honest. It took a lot of aluminum, so we're gonna find out in a second here. Alright guys, here we go. Moment of truth. Moment of truth. This is always a mystery if they came out or not. Oh yeah. Looks like they filled out all the way. Oh, what is that? I guess they weren't that hot. Alright, next one. That one probably came out too. Super cool. Look at these things. Solid aluminum. Gingerbread men. Look at that. A little better. Cool. Alright guys, I'm gonna let those cool off a little bit, bring them in the garage, clean them up for you. Alright guys, back in the garage. I got them both right here. I'm just going to cut off the sprues. I'm going to wire wheel all this up. And I might even sand it a little bit. I'm not really sure. The wire wheel will probably make it look really good. But real quick, I do want to show you, if you can see here, how rough that is. This is where I didn't have any plaster. And compare that to where I did. It's super smooth, just like the foam, but it's just really rough. You can hear the glove sticking to it, how rough it is. So that's the reason you want to coat these foam patterns with drywall mud, because it makes a world of a difference. Alright guys, I'm going to get right to it. Stick around and see how I cut these off, sand it down, and make them look pretty. Alright guys, here they are, all cleaned up. I think they look super cool. Each and every one of them just looks super cool. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Which one do you like better? Do you like this one? Or do you like this one better? Let me know in the comments, guys. And also, let me know if you like this type of video. It's more like a video metal casting vlog. Do you prefer this type of video, or do you prefer the regular voiceover video that I'm used to doing? Just let me know in the comments. It'd be greatly appreciated. Make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And stay tuned for next week's video. Happy holidays.